I'm Rachmany, and I've been looking at innovative ways of handling democracy and currency. And this Sufficiency Currency project video explains a one-year pilot, which is going to be experimenting with new forms of economy at a regional level. And we're going to be addressing the global challenges that we hear so much about. So this global challenges slide hints at something important. It shows problems of the social inequality and pollution, but most of the slide is all this tubing in between, the connection between the global problems. And for me, this is the infrastructure or the currency level. The flows determine the possible outcomes. Just like I can't have wheels, I have feet. And that has to do with my muscular structure, my skeletal structure, my circulatory system. In the same way, our democracies and our economies, they have this tubing in between them. And only certain outcomes can be accomplished. And in our current monetary system, we can't achieve equality and we can't achieve ecological outcomes because of the infrastructure level. And monetary systems are good. They've brought us a long way as humanity. But something will, of course, succeed them. And this economy that we're looking at has a different outcome. The idea isn't to increase GDP or some monetary thing, but to increase sufficiency. That is, sufficiency is the number of people who are supported by the system in a decent way. So we're exploring, rather than monetary infrastructure, alternative infrastructures. So the Sufficiency Currency project is starting at a regional scale. You can see eco-villages, hacker spaces, production plans, cooperatives, but at a regional level, 30 to 50 groups, which is big enough to create kind of a self-sufficient economy, big enough to understand, will this scale to a city or nation level, but small enough that we can move quickly and experiment and iterate. So in researching different communities, social enterprises, eco-villages, and cooperatives, I found that reputation or values was something everyone spoke about. So, for example, this eco-village said that eco-village can also send their children to our kindergarten for free. We kind of keep track. We trust each other. But those guys over there, those are just a village. They don't have a shared economy. They don't have an ecological bent to them. They can pay. They can send their kids, but they pay. So this idea that a shared value system creates a shared economy. And so how do you stop using money as a proxy for value, but actually expose these values? That's what we're exploring here. And we're building a software that will live side by side with the purchasing manager software, or maybe eventually substitute for it, that will allow a representative of an eco-village or a cooperative or a business or a social enterprise to really show their values and rate the other people in their community, the other communities, not the individuals, but the communities, on their reputation. And this way you're trying to accumulate a good reputation and a good name and a good set of values rather than trying to accumulate some monetary number in the system. So to map out how this software might work, I got together with a bunch of people, the IT manager of the Eco-Village Network, the captain of the Astral Ship, which is a group of hacker spaces in Wales, and we started mapping out, okay, how would this community to community or social enterprise to social enterprise network look? What would the software look like? What are some scenarios that the purchasing manager might have? And we came up with some designs, as you can see. We used groups for a number of reasons. One is it scales well. It's easy to iterate. One user might represent dozens or a few hundred people even. So we can iterate quickly and work on a fairly big group of people, thousands of people, with fewer users. Another reason, or the main reason, is really because of the social contract in a group. In a group, if I know that I'm going out representing the group, I'm going to behave myself. Everybody will be looking and my whole group might get impacted. And then similarly, when I go back to my group, the group might take care of me. It's like, oh, you behaved this way, or we're going to take care of you when we're sick. So we felt that groups can reinstate the social contract that is so important for sufficiency, for creating an economy that cares for people, is having people belong to a group that cares for them. We used values that are real values people care about, and we want to reflect what people really think and how people think. So ecological, social, cultural, professional. So it might be something like, wow, it was a great product, but it was all served in all this plastic, not very ecological. And you'd be able to represent the values that you received from a community or gave to a community by these different scales and different types of values that are added to the economy. One of the profound things about the economy is it really measures value. We have needs and we have offers like any other economy. But what is this extra value that is in the system? So For example, we might just exchange. I give you firewood and you lend me your truck. That's an exchange, or you give me money, whatever. The second type is a group action where we get together, let's say we do a beach cleanup or we replant the forest. We created value. We all got together and we had a picnic or we replanted the forest, but there's no transaction here. Monetary systems would never record that kind of value. And yet we did establish a reputation. I invited all the community. Some came, some didn't came, some worked hard, some brought good pies. So we're creating value and we're creating a reputation in the network. But all of that is invisible in the monetary system. So we wanted to be able to create value in every interaction. And we also noticed that when we negotiate a contract, but we didn't agree, there's still value created in terms of reputation. They were a good communicator. They were too expensive. They responded quickly. They responded slowly. That also adds into our ability to assess the value in the system and the value of that community. And none of that information is lost in a reputation or values-based community like it is in a monetary system. And again, just to remind us, the purpose of the system is to sustain people. So if you've got a good reputation in the system, either as an individual or a community, we'd help you out in hard times. We'd share our food with you, come back and rebuild your village if there was a flood, because we recognize your value and your values that align with us. And we've kept track of that in a wider network, in a visible way that today's economy doesn't keep track of. I come from the crypto industry, so you might ask, why don't you use a cryptocurrency or an alternative currency? And the main reason is it hasn't worked. I mean, we've got decades of experience with Bristol Pound, Sardex, community currencies that have not changed the economy at all. And the fundamental reason is that it doesn't address what we call value. I mean, when you need the most money is when you have a small family and they're small children. And that's the time you want to spend at home. And the default monetary economy is just say, well, get a job and we'll support you. This economy is about the well-being of the community. And of course, it's good for the well-being of the community for parents to have time to parent their children and not be out working. So we feel that any other alternative money will have those same problems. And therefore, we're looking at a completely different fundamental system. This is our current roadmap. We're about halfway through. We've done a couple of years of research. We've done design sprint. We have a number of communities in northern Spain, and in mid-May we'll be doing a pilot for gathering the user information. And we're looking for about €1.5 million from a foundation or donor who's interested in new forms of economy in order to develop the software and then do a 1-year pilot with these communities to actually try this out and see how it works. Everything is going to be open source. We'll be reporting to the media. We see this as a long-term, maybe even multi-generational project that we want to create a lot of knowledge and just start the path towards alternatives to a monetary system. We'd love to hear feedback. We'd love introductions to people who are interested in funding this, participating in this. We have regular Q&As where we answer questions about this. Thank you so much for your time, and we'd love to hear from you.